Hello everyone, it's Melinda here with CatSmashPuzzles, and today we're doing over part 2 of the 2026 DFW Speed Puzzling Showdown. And this one will be about the pairs and pairs relay events. And so I went in the prior video over my solo results and my team results. So this is going to be kind of the in-between of those two events. So the order was solo, pairs relay, pairs, then teams. So I will be going over the first event, which was pairs relay, and these are the two puzzles here. We have Austin, Texas, which seems familiar, and Rodeo of Sleepy Creek, which I've done before as a 210, but it wasn't my puzzle. I think it was a practice puzzle from Melinda's house, if I remember correctly. But I have done this one as a 210, and I've done it as a 500, so this one was very familiar to me. And I think Christina had it in the 210. She took that one home from the Texas State Championship. So I only have the 500-piece version, and now I have the 210-piece version. So very excited about that. So yeah, I have now had 2 puzzles, actually technically 3, I've done before. Thankfully the team puzzle I had not, but I'd seen it. So far, you know, I've done all these puzzles. It's probably hard for someone to pick specifically boardwalk puzzles that most speed puzzlers haven't done before. Sadly, we kind of all practice the same stuff, and we prepare for the event, Ravensburger and all. Unless you have new release puzzles, it's more than likely you'll have someone who has done the puzzle before, and that's just unfortunate, but it is kind of the reality. But hey, we're not, you know, we're beatable. Christina showed that. She hadn't done the London puzzle, and she beat me by 50 seconds. And I did it again here, and I did it about 19 minutes and 18 seconds, so I still didn't even beat her time on a 3rd attempt. To be fair, I wasn't feeling very good, but not a very good excuse for that one. Alright, so first event will be the pairs relay with Christina, and we definitely did do some practice for that. When Christina, Brittany, and Shay and I were practicing for teams, Brittany and Shay had to go, and then Christina and I stayed a little bit afterwards to do some pairs relay and pairs practice. We've gotten pretty good at the pairs relay, but Brittany and Shay were also paired up. And I don't know how much they practiced, but we'll see how we do against them. They were definitely the ones to contend with. So Austin, Texas, and Rodeo. Let's smash it.
60 minutes. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, it's Austin! So that was a pretty successful run. We've been trying to stay under 20 minutes for the pairs relays for these 210-piece puzzles, and we got it done in 16 minutes and 18 seconds. Did we get first place? No! By 3 seconds. Brittany and Shay beat us by 3 seconds. They finished it in 16:15. There was a little bit of confusion of who finished first because we kind of looked like we did it simultaneously. But I think there was a judge over there that had gotten the time, and then I think a judge ran over to us and kind of got our time. So yeah, that was a tight race. We were right on their tail, and I think that Shay must have just flipped all the pieces faster, which I'll get into in a minute. And so, you know, it was actually kind of fun. We finished the Austin, Texas one first because both of us had done it before. The rodeo was just a little bit more difficult at the end, but we got it done in almost under 16 minutes, which is a pretty good time. But Brittany and Shay beat us out on this one. So yeah, it was kind of reminds me of Melinda and Jessica were 5 seconds behind us at the Texas State Championship. So yeah, these relays can be very close, and that just kind of how the cookie crumbles. But again, second place isn't bad out of 69 pairs, and only I think 3 also didn't finish this in the hour allotted time. So you know what? Good selection of puzzles, but I think people were pretty satisfied. People like the 210-piece counts. I do. I love the Boardwalk mini puzzles. They're quite a lot of fun. The 210-piece puzzles are kind of like what we call snack puzzles. They're good practice to flip and just do something quick. I think I average about 13 minutes with these guys by myself. I have done the Japan one quite a few times when I was on vacation. I got it down to 11 and a half minutes. So it's really hard to get under 10 minutes for these guys. I think they're just smaller pieces and they're a little bit hard to maneuver, but otherwise, they're a lot of fun. So, happy with our results, but now we have to move on to the pairs. And I was like, well, they got us the pairs relay. Will we get them in the pairs? And we got a dawdle puzzle, which kind of shocked everyone. No one has done a dawdle puzzle in competition, I think, or it's been a long time since one's popped up. And this one is called San Antonio, and it is basically a cartoon version of, I think, the Riverwalk. And yeah, there's a lot of sky, buildings, the water, bridge. So when me and Christina opened it, we were like, oh, okay, this will be interesting. And this one was going to be a bit of a difficult one, I think. So will we catch up with Brittany and Shay on this round? Let's smash it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, this was Dawdle by Boardwalk, San Antonio, 500 pieces, and this was the pairs round. And we did this in 30 minutes and 42 seconds, so a little bit slower than we wanted to be. We try to be around the 25-minute mark for pairs, if not under that. But this was definitely a harder puzzle. I believe I worked on the sky, Christina started working on the water, and then I think she worked on the side here a little bit, and then I kind of worked on the building over here, and then I worked on the bridge, and we sort of met in the middle. I think this one we just had a lot of struggle with. There was a couple false fits. It was a grid cut, so we weren't quite expecting that. We were expecting a random cut since it's Boardwalk. But Dawdle is kind of its own different version of Boardwalk. So the Dawdle puzzle kind of threw us off a little bit, and we got through it. We did our best, and we got second place out of 72 pairs. And once again, Shay and Brittany got ahead of us by about a little bit less than a minute. They weren't again far ahead of us, but they got ahead of us a little bit, and that was all it needed to be. I definitely think Brittany and Shay kind of worked together really well. I think Christina and I do too. I'm not saying we don't, but I think we need to kind of work on some different tactics, because I think Christina and Shay are very organized and very methodical. I'm not 100% sure what Brittany's puzzling style is, but I'm a chaotic mess. I have tried to rein myself in to be a bit more methodical, like doing the border first, being a little bit less chaotic, basically, because chaotic puzzling is good by yourself when you're not bothering anybody, not the best for being in a pair or team, so it's something I've had to rein in a little bit in order to work with a pair partner or team. And so I also have the problem of leaning over the table. I get really, I don't mean to, but I get really possessive in my space. And again, solo, it's fine, I'm not bothering anybody, but you're getting in people's way, and I have definitely experienced the other end of that, so I'm really doing my best to kind of back off the puzzle, at least try not to be over the puzzle. You know, I just kind of get excited, and I start to stand up, and that's just kind of how I move faster, unfortunately. So, something I'm still trying to work on. I didn't write down how many pairs did not finish this puzzle, but I think about a quarter of them didn't finish, if not a little more than that. So this was definitely a harder puzzle than what people were expecting. I think it was a struggle bus for a lot of pairs, but you know, it was kind of interesting to have a Dawdle one. I have like 9 Dawdle puzzles over there, maybe more than that at this point. So it is something I have been practicing a little bit, but you know, it's again something I don't really expect to come up in competition. So that was the pairs competition. We got second place. And so I have officially gone through all 4 competitions where I got second place in my solo, second place in pairs relay, second place in pairs, and first in teams. So pretty close to a full sweep, not quite, but you know what? The results were somewhat as I was expecting. I didn't think Brittany and Shay would at least get us on the pairs relay, but I think the pairs relay me and Christina had really tried to finesse and kind of become an expert in. But there were other few things going on with the competition. I kind of explained that there was the 60,000 piece puzzle that was displayed, the puzzle swap, the boardwalk shop. There was also Melinda's Mel's t-shirts and accessories. She's one of my friends that I borrow puzzles from a lot and compete a lot with. And we do a lot of communication regarding, you know, contests. There is going to be an EJJ mini marathon that we'll be filming that I think at her place, and that will be basically a very smaller version of the 12-hour marathon, but in your own house, basically. And it's EJJ, European Jigsaw Gym. But she's actually opened up her own business where she's selling speed puzzling merch. So I'll link her website down below if y'all are interested in looking at that. I do plan to get a custom-made shirt for her that displays my channel logo, so that way I can actually have that, you know, wear that on my channel and wear it out to in-person competitions. So that's going to be something I plan to do in the future. And, you know, she's very sweet, very much a hard worker, so go support her small business. And, you know, I'm not sponsored by her at all, just a good friend. So she was there, and then there were 2 little bitty side competitions that people were doing. And so the Showdown has had the sprint competition, but they've introduced the flipping competition. So before I go into the sprint, I will kind of discuss the flipping competition. So they use the London 300-piece puzzle, and basically you dump it out and you flip all the pieces. You don't do the puzzle, you're just flipping all the pieces, and then once you flip all the pieces, you're done, your time's ended. And I've been really trying to practice my flipping, and I did it about a minute and 45 seconds. For a 300-piece puzzle, that's kind of on par with where I land on a 500-piece. I completely flip only. I'm under that 3-minute mark, so that makes sense where I landed with the London puzzle here. But Christina and Shay decided to do the contest back-to-back, and I really wish I'd gotten this on camera. I sadly did not. And they were doing it at the same time, and Shay got her flipping done in 56 seconds. Amazing. That's why I tell you, she is like the fastest puzzle piece flipper I have ever seen. She is. She just proved it. But Christina wasn't too far behind her. She did it in about a minute and 12 or 13 seconds, something like that. So Christina and Shay definitely have the edge on me for flipping faster. But Shay has somehow, she says she makes it a game and she's figured out how to make it fun. So I might have to take some liberties from her and see if I can do that with myself and figure out how to make flipping fun, because I'm not a fan of it. I refused to do it for a long time, and now I kind of force myself to do it, and it's been like something I just kind of had to hammer at and try to get faster at it, do drills and do different things. I have improved, just not where I would like to be. I don't know if I'll ever get to Shay's level, but I'd like to get probably closer to Christina's level regarding flipping faster. And I think Christina's also a very quick sorter, so if I can get that also skill, I'll be doing pretty good there. So that was the flipping challenge, and Shay did win that one. And then there was the sprint challenge, which I think was a 42 or 36-piece puzzle. And this is where I shine. I actually do really well with the smaller piece counts, specifically the 100-piece puzzles. And I think that this one I initially was a little confused. I was like, oh, the buildings are kind of on the sides and they look duplicative, and you have the canal in the middle here, but immediately I figured it out where 1 or 2 pieces went, and it came together super quick. And I finished it in a minute and 26 seconds. And I don't think Christina did it, but Shay did it in about a minute 37, so she was the second place person behind me, and everybody else was like about over a minute 40. So I definitely think that the digital puzzles I do, which is like 48 pieces that I do on my spare time, or when I'm a little bored on the computer, I just quickly do them. And on average, I'm around that 130 mark. So I think that definitely helped me regarding the smaller sprint that I did. And I did win that competition, and I got a prize puzzle from it. So happy to see I got the sprint again. I think that wraps up the DFW Showdown. And probably the last in-person competition I'll be doing for a little while. The next one that will probably happen for me will be the Spooktacular in October. So in the meantime, I plan to do EJJs, which on the next video, I will be doing 2 EJJ puzzles from prior contests that Christina let me borrow. And I will go over what my EJJs plans are. And I will also be doing the Zoom competitions from speedpuzzling.com. And I do plan to volunteer at the speedpuzzling.com mini tournament in August. I don't know if that'll be a video per se. I think it will be. I just won't be doing a puzzle, I guess. Or I might be able to borrow the solo puzzle and do that as a fun side thing. But I'm not participating. I'm just volunteering. So that'll probably be the next thing I do. I know the Texas JPA just announced a competition down kind of in the Austin area. And so I'm considering that one, but I don't think I'm going to go to it. And so, you know, there's other competitions that are popping up here and there. But I really do think that I plan to just simply save up for U.S. Nationals, which was announced will be in March, about like the second to last weekend back in Atlanta. So that was kind of a surprise. They've kind of come back to the same city. So that's kind of a mixed bag there. I'm kind of happy that it's in a place that's a little close again, because there was a rumor, I don't know where I heard it, but someone said it was going to be in Hawaii. And I'm like, yeah, that's out of my budget. I'm sorry, I can't go to Hawaii. But I do think that since it's in Atlanta again, it's a very strong possibility I should be able to go. So I'm saving up for Atlanta Nationals 2027 and the World Series in June 2027 that'll be in Ontario, Canada. So those are going to be the 2 big ones I'm preparing to do. I'm hoping that if Worlds is happening in 2027, I might have to push that one out to 2028. We'll see how that happens. But I do want to go to Worlds eventually. It's not worked out for me. And as much as I want to go, I do think that people have backed off of it until they find a new location. So I'm hoping that they'll find a new location and I'll be able to go to it at that point. Those are my in-person plans. Those are the results from the DFW Showdown. Pretty happy with all of it. I'm also planning to start streaming soon. I have probably, unfortunately, have to push it out to September at this point. I didn't want to, but I have to get a few things done before I can start streaming and making sure I get all the right equipment. I thankfully have a whole bunch of people on Discord. I'm with the Speed Puzzling Discord group. They have all the know-how of how to get started with streaming, so I have a good knowledge base and a good place to ask for help. So, and I just saw a few new people starting to stream, so it's kind of exciting to get into that realm of things. And so I may end up changing how I do my videos moving forward when I start streaming. I will let you know, just because I don't want to get overloaded and not be able to handle the video work here. So I want to be able to make sure I can still create content without overbearing myself and still, have y'all enjoy my content. So that's my plan for the rest of the couple months here. But as for the DFW 2026 Showdown, I think we definitely smashed it. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.